And what you find out in the Passover Q&A is that there are two distinctly different things connected to the Passover. There is the performing of the Passover, which is the actual taking of the lamb and slaughtering it and all that stuff, which we are not doing now, and we'll get into why in a minute. And then there's the eating of the meal, okay? And so with Passover, there's the meal, and also connected with the meal is the retelling of the story of the Exodus. But notice also, just to kind of have in there, in verse 24 and 25, there's some really critical points that kind of go against what you hear in mainstream Christianity these days, which is, number one, that these laws and fearing Yahweh or Elohim are for our good always. So that means they cannot be looked at as, oh, that awful burdensome law. No, they're for your good always. And not only are they for your good always, but they are to keep us alive. Interesting, as it is today. So they are for the purpose of keeping us alive. So we're not doing Passover offerings of the lamb. If you want to eat some during the meal, I think that's wonderful because it's a symbol to remind you of what they used to do. But we need not be and should not be, because he says don't. You are not allowed. It's pretty straightforward. Don't do this. And yet I know that I get conversations going on a regular basis with people who are all upset because their congregation's having a major rift and split because half the people in it want to do this lamb sacrifice thing. And they're putting blood on their doorposts. That'll work real well in your neighborhood homeowners association thing, right? Prepare for these things. See, he's telling you in advance. What does that mean? It means that we should then be preparing for these things. So you don't just show up all of a sudden at one of the Shalosh Regalim and you go, start reaching into your pocket and go and wonder, okay, I don't know if I have anything to put. I didn't bring much. Well, what about preparing for it so that you can show him how much you appreciate what he's done for you? Okay? Prepare for these things. By the way, not just financially, but you should be preparing to have the leaven out of your house and eat unleavened bread. So you don't sit around going, but the stores didn't have any matzah. Well, because you waited too long. You got to prepare. But what you've not necessarily done is become what I call Hogcentric. Okay? Having the Chagim be something you center your thoughts and your life around so that they also don't surprise you. Because I get people all the time telling me, oh, it's Sukkot already? Oh, I don't have enough money to go, and I wasn't planning. You aren't Hogcentric. You should never be taken by surprise by a feast showing up. As a matter of fact, you should be anticipating with excitement the feast coming. The set-apart ones, and the true brothers in Messiah. So these are people who are probably doing what? And I shouldn't even say probably. They're keeping the commandments. They're observing the commandments. But they are probably people that didn't necessarily keep them their whole life. So they probably have a lot of friends and family members. I know you find this shocking, but these guys had family members giving them grief about what they were doing. I know none of you have that problem. So what it says here is not what Christianity says, because Christianity takes it the other way around. He says, Christianity is saying, don't let the Jews judge you because you're keeping different days and eating things that they don't eat. That's what they're saying it says. No, it's the opposite. He says, don't let the Gentiles pick on you because you're no longer doing their stuff. He says, don't let anybody steal your prize. How are they going to steal your prize? Because you give in to their judging you and you get all nervous that they're picking on you and you get all embarrassed that you're not like everybody else anymore, and so you give in and you change back to be like them. Listen to the flow here. Let no one judge you in respect to these things, which are a shadow of what's to come, except the body of Messiah, because if you do, someone may steal your prize. You'll be deprived of your prize. If you give in and let others judge you, you may give up your prize. We start off the journey learning about the fact that we need to be redeemed and reconciled. That's part of the plan of salvation. You don't get to start on the path until you realize you need redemption and reconciliation. So the plan of salvation is starting to come through. First, we realize we need to be redeemed and reconciled. Then we understand part of the process, really a critical part of the process, is to stop doing all the things that got us separated from him in the first place. Why would you need redemption and reconciliation? And, if you and I were married, if I was married to one of you and we had a problem and a split, trying to bring us back together is called reconciling. And what do you do when you reconcile? You have to deal with all the issues that caused you to be separated. You have to reconcile what's an issue. So you know what the issue was? You were walking according to the estrangement in the futility of your mind. So what do you see happening now? They went through redemption, reconciliation, understanding, started the process of coming out of her, my people. This is for you too, right? You're starting to let go of the old way, the old life, putting on the new renewed man. Then you show up at Shavuot, and now you're in a cleaned, fresh, like a clean slate, ready for him to write his Torah on. So now you come to Shavuot, and now he's going to give you and instruct you and write on you what he expects of you, so you can figure out and understand and discern what is well-pleasing in his sight. But you have to stop the futility of your own mind. You got to stop your own way of thinking, your own way, I always was taught this. Well, but maybe what you always taught was wrong. Stop filtering everything through everything that you already have an experience with. Let everything go. That's what he asked them to do when they came out of Egypt. Let everything go. Come to Sinai and let me write it from scratch on you. Let me fresh start. By keeping the Moedim, the appointed times of Elohim, each year, we are reminded of their historical and messianic fulfillments, and we look forward to keeping them with Yeshua when he returns. Amen? Amen. So let's understand as we go through this that he lays it all out for us very simply, not very complicated. There are 5 Moedim seasonal periods, 7 high days, 3 Shalosh Regalim, 3 Chagim periods, right? The 3 times a year that we go and feast together. And the whole point of all of this is so that we never forget what happened historically, so that we never lack the appreciation for Yeshua's fulfilling of what he's already fulfilled and what he's coming back to do more, and that we don't miss even one piece of how this is about you walking through the plan.